Steve Buscemi bellhop. What the fuck am I watching? Is this a real movie? Is this really happening? John Goodman is in this movie? What the fuck is John Turturro? The dude from Zohan? All jokes aside, why the fuck did he do Zohan? Like so many years later. You've done so many movies. Same with, pretty sure he was in Transformers too. Why the fuck were you in Transformers? Yeah, I try not to watch those.
Everyone is running to find the showy machen Dachen for the food the heroes eat. Copy, Sambuse, delicious machen Dachen. You never know who you'll meet.
You are going to get spoiled!
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Filmography Fridays. I'm the JJ. And I'm alone. Let me put it to you this way. There was no way in hell I was punching myself in the face on camera, so... Barton Fink, 1991. Coen brothers. We start on Barton's production. It's a stage production. You see him off screen, he's standing there to himself. He seems very unenthused, very, unattached to it. There's something that he doesn't feel is right about it, and you can tell that this is the type of character that wants perfection, wants to show what he wants to show in his own way, which just makes it so much more devastating at the end of the movie when, well, the end of the movie happens. Money and all that and the praise be damned, they mean nothing to him. He wants to show the world his art, his idea, his opinion, his, well, masterpiece. A little off screen. Yes, this is for John Goodman. The Coen brothers take such a depressing yet beautiful, weird. They take that and they make it such an interesting story. I do think that if you like the inner workings of theater, movies, just entertainment in that aspect in general, I think you will like this movie a lot more. And from what I saw, Hail Caesar, I would say for that too. But we'll get there eventually. At the rate we're going, I don't know how long eventually it'll be. But as I said, it's a Coen brothers movie, and that means it's very stylized. The way they put the book down when he gets into the hotel and Steve Buscemi is just, oh, you have to sign in. Puts the book down, spins it, and doesn't drop it like a fucking mook. God damn it. Paper's everywhere. But even the way that he puts it down is stylized, enjoyable, the slight corner turn on it, the way that they do it is just aesthetically pleasing. That's the best way I can put it. The stabs at cheap hotels are just accurately gross. And it's not even cheap hotels. It could be hotels in general. They're just probably better hidden. But the moving the pencil to see the dust outline on the paper, genius visual. The black stuff on the ceiling as he's laying there or looking up at it, and it's just beautiful visual. The nasty stuff in the wallpaper, beautiful visual. Also, really well done. That wallpaper gunk comes back later to show his morbid curiosity, and I'll get to that when the scene actually happens. We get to Capitol Pictures, and the Capitol Pictures, like, I'll just call him the Capitol Pictures guy. He's just too entertaining. He seems accurate to his role from stories that I've heard, too. It's just a horror to work with these people. From what I've heard, it's literally, I've heard some horror stories in this business where some guys are, well, let me put this out there, some guys aren't this bad. But I've heard some horror stories of Saul Goodman types. They're just, yeah, you're the best, baby, yeah, come on, yeah, baby, let me go do a line of coke. Yeah, baby, you're the best. Alright, my coke's out, alright, get the fuck out of my office. Pretty much to that degree. Just, they'll use you until you're dry, and no matter how personal the relationship you form there, means nothing. In fact, you usually don't want to form a relationship there, and this movie catches that. You see Barton at his typewriter in his hotel room, not typing because he's got this writer's block, which I find funny because I believe they wrote either this movie or the next one, Fargo, while being in writer's block for the other movie. As he's not typing, he can't seem to bring himself to do it. I think that's part of the reason why he locks himself in this hotel room, to cultivate some sort of emotion or feeling out of him, to get him jolted, to get him started, submersing himself into what he wants this location to be, so to speak. Maybe that'll jolt his memories, get him started. And just as he's about to, again, not start, John Goodman walks in. Barges in. Earlier, you had these weird scenes, what he couldn't concentrate because you heard some noises from the left and right rooms, and basically, Barton Fink picks up the phone, calls the front desk, lies a couple of times. Yeah, no, this guy's just making a lot of noise, blah, blah, blah. Goodman barges in, looks around, kind of, it seems like he kind of knows, like, oh, did this son of a bitch call a noise ordinance on me? And he starts kind of, like, mini-interrogating him, and then eventually Barton just breaks down, yeah, it was me, it was for your own health, but it was because I couldn't work. Oh, fuck. And he expects a backlash, you expect a backlash as an audience, and then when you see Goodman's face, it's like, well, don't worry about it, partner. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, Goodman's awesome, he's a great guy. It's funny because he's both, like, charming, as I've mentioned, seems like a great guy. Charming, but he's also got this hint of patronizing in him, which I absolutely love the balance of. But that's not to say that Barton himself, as a writer, the way he views himself, which is a little arrogant, one of the lines that really put it in my head is, to put it in your language, even emphasizing the your, to put it in your language. This is, oof. You know, the more you think about the beginning and how Barton is as a character, the end result, while depressing, and it is indeed depressing, it is well, he is kind of a prick. But he keeps, I could tell you some stories, I could tell you some stories, I could tell you some stories, and every time he says that line, he gets cut off by Fink. And at first, I thought of it more as like this, oh, that's really funny, and it also shows how Fink is, as I said, arrogant. It works. He's talking to himself, not to someone else, despite his, oh, you get me, you get what I'm saying, you get it. He knows he doesn't get it. He doesn't think he gets anything. He's just really, it seems like he's just venting to himself. But it's even funnier to think about that those stories, with the plot twist that comes later, those stories probably would be some interesting stories. It's really funny that if we heard one of his stories, we might have not let him get away with as much as he did in the interim. I truly find Fink's passion for realism in his art beautiful. I really do. He thrusts himself, I think I semi-mentioned this, he thrusts himself into these situations so he can get something, like a shoddy hotel room, like a dangerous potential hotel room. In fact, the heads up are like, let me know where you're staying. You staying there? Oh, we could get you in this place. No, this place is where I need to be, says Fink. So it's very clever. I really like that. It's ironically mirroring realism. Some artists have to do that. One of my favorite lines in this is by Tony Shalhoub, because yeah, he's in this. I'm pretty sure he's Barton's agent, if I remember correctly. But one of his lines is, what Oakham doesn't know, you could squeeze into the Hollywood Bowl. Okay? It's just like, he's got this very... Okay, by the way, I need to mention this before we move any further with Tony Shalhoub. He is overacting beyond all belief. There's a line later that's... good! But it's also, aside from just being a funny line, it's true. It's true. The whole idea of the studio head doesn't know what he wants. From interviews, I've heard this. I've heard a lot of studio heads basically going, we want this in our picture. Could you make it less saggy? Like, what the fuck does that mean? Some of the things that they claim they want and that they get, they can't form into words, or they just flat out don't know what they're talking about. So I love that this movie shows that. So we meet one of Turturro's favored writers, I believe his name is Mayhew. He's met in the bathroom, he's puking ridiculously. You don't even see him at first, he's just in the stall and he's there, you hear him, but you don't see him, and then he pops out of the stall, washes his face off in a drunken mess, kind of gets himself together, and then as he's talking to Barton, just pulls out another flask and just starts chugging, like you just threw up. I can smell the tortured writer on you. But I just really, all jokes aside, you really see his character in that one scene right off the bat. A little less than, you don't get that with Turturro. You definitely don't get that with Goodman. The one character you really get that with in this movie is this guy. You just, boom, that's his character. Okay, I get it. He's just a complete lush. He will non-stop ruining he is constantly dulling the blade of his talent, so to speak, with this. And yeah, this basically leads to a relationship that needs to happen between, as I've said, Mayhew and Turturro, and that's a big depressing part of this movie for you. For you and probably for me. I meant more for me. But it's funny because it's also got that underlining, aside from just the whole shit, I don't want to turn into that, which they very clearly delve into. They also have the whole don't meet your heroes aspect. Barton Fink is hearing noises, and the morbid curiosity, as I've mentioned earlier, causes him to put his ear on the wall despite him knowing that glaze is there, for lack of a better term. Ugh. And he just flat out sticks his head on the wall, and I don't know why, But for some reason, that scene's gonna stick with me. That's one of the few scenes that I remember clear as day, because at first I didn't quite get it, and the more that I think about it, the more I realize just, wow, this man. So Goodman finds his way back to the hotel room. They have another of their super deep talks, which, by the way, all their talks go into this weird existential just, what does it mean to be like it all breaks down into something that you wouldn't expect a Goodman's character to be talking about. That might be intentional. Barton was signed on earlier to do a wrestling picture. That is what the studio hired him for. Not that he knows anything about wrestling. In fact, he's green as hell in that whole area. But being the upstart that he wants to be, the big name, Barton Fink. We want a Barton Fink picture. He goes, oh, yeah, okay, I'll do it, despite not feeling comfortable doing it. And it's not until much later in the movie that he actually voices that to the studio head, which... bad idea. Anyway, back to the point. Goodman, as I mentioned, is in the room. He's talking to him at this point in time. He's trying to jolt his memory. He mentions Barton that he's doing the whole picture, the whole wrestling idea. To which Goodman, oh, I used to do wrestling. Oh, come down here. No, I don't want to. No, come down here. Take the position. They start wrestling, and Goodman just flat out obliterates him. He just flat out pins him. 1, 2, 3, the end. So as he's walking out, Barton seems like sort of embarrassed, sort of just like, what the fuck just happened? Why did I get hit by a fat truck? And while he's recovering from the utter oblivion that he was just sent to, you have Goodman just, oh yeah, you know I wouldn't be much of a match for you in mental gymnastics. And at that line, that's when it hit me. I don't know if this is because I understand tropes, or if I just got a good instinct, but that was the line that I was like, you're not who you say you are. You are 100% working some inner mechanisms here. There's some sort of fucking plot twist revealing you. And I think that's really clever that they added that. I think that was needed, otherwise the plot twist comes out of nowhere. This was just enough for me to go, oh! But still, the entire movie I'm questioning, wait, was I wrong? That's good filmmaking. That's good tension. That's good atmosphere. That makes all of those things click. We're at a picnic, and it's Mayhew and Turturro with Mayhew's, like, not wife, but, like, current girlfriend and secretary and apparently writer, but we'll get to that later. Yeah, and they're all having a nice conversation. Everything's cool, everything's great. And then it starts devolving. You see the difference between writers. Good material comes from inner pain, Turturro, versus I just like making things up, Mayhew. And you have this butting of the heads. Again, don't meet your heroes. You have this butting of the heads that just destroys Barton a little bit inside, that his hero does this. Not necessarily hero, but one of the people he looks up to in his field. So you finally get the drunk, because you knew it was going to happen in the scene, you get the drunk tantrum, yeah, I'm getting out of here. And he runs away, he's drinking, Mayhew that is, obviously. And he's like on a tree, he's like about to fall over, it looks like. The secretary runs up, tries to help him. Boom! Bitch smacked. The audience, me, is, oh, that's well, that's a new level of not cool. Barton Fink. Oh! Well, that's a new level of not cool. And his wife. I'm gonna kill you. It's funny, because I'm not entirely sure. This movie's pretty open with it. I'm not entirely sure. Because does the chick wind up killing him later? Or is it the murderer that's around town who left? But he left, so how could he have done it? You have to assume that she did it, and then potentially blamed it on the murderer, since she made the whole MO look like that. I'm not entirely sure on that one. That's one of the few negatives I give this movie. I'm a little unclear in that one particular aspect. But Barton realizes she's been hit, walks over. That son of a bitch! I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a great writer, but that son of a bitch! Such a great Coen line. Comedy drama. Goodman comes in for a nice talk with Barton and warns him, I'm leaving for New York soon, blah, blah, blah. If you got any help in New York that I would appreciate, give me the number. So that's a great setup, and I need to set that up for something later that I want to bring up. Other than that, just a nice scene. Moving on, right after that, you get Barton, who's just laying back in his chair, looking up at the ceiling, zoned out, and it's just so empty. How he's feeling right now, just nothing. Scared, probably, to a degree, but that's on the back burner. It's just why, it's just dead almost. And we also get in that exact same scene a beautiful, beautiful transition. Transitions are tricky. They're normally shit. And I'm gonna say that in most movies. Most transitions are normally shit. Few directors get how to do transition work, and this was one of them. The white ceiling to the white paper, genius. God! We finally got to this. Finally got to this scene. Shaloub, he goes to Shaloub, explains basically like, hey, I'm having doubts. I don't know if I should be doing this movie. Maybe move me to another one. And then Shaloub's like, are you fucking kidding me? First of all, you're not even started yet? Are you fucking kidding me? I gave him an okay. Not only did I give him the okay for you, but I just recently talked to him. I said I read your script and it was fucking great. Don't you dare fuck me on this one. Which, oh my god, clever way to do this. They just raise the stakes by so much at this point in the movie. And we're about a third, maybe a halfway through it, and boom, the punch hits, and it's, oh god. The wheels that were supposed to be moving that are dead needed to be moving faster, and the fact that they're dead makes that even worse, and it's just this hopelessness, this feeling, and we just got the scene of him feeling hopeless and looking up at the ceiling, so this is just overkill. Earlier, we saw them practicing in the hotel room amateur wrestling. The whole take the position, get ready. But then in the movie, we see a clip from a previous movie, I think Mayhew's, maybe. I could be wrong on that. I think it was one of Mayhew's. But we see a movie, I'm going to kill you! And it's professional wrestling. Now that I think about it, that guy was totally like the Iron Sheik of movies. Which is it? This is the problem that a lot of people had with movies like, well, wrestling movies like Ready to Rumble and stuff. You have to pick. Is it your predetermined wrestling? Is it your actual, like, amateur-style wrestling? Movie doesn't pick. It gives us a Ready to Rumble moment. It's just, what the fuck are we doing here? Is it, like, what is it? I need to know. That's just more like continuity more than anything for me. Earlier on in the movie, they set up this idea of orphan a dame, orphan a dame. That's the kind of picture. That's as simple as that. You pick orphan a dame. What are they doing? Are they going to go for a kid? Are they going for a child? An orphanage? What are they doing? Are they going for a dame, a woman, the love of their life? What are they doing? It's one of two options. That's how movies get made. Strangely paralleling, like, hey, you can only make this movie if you get a specific actor. It's just like the conditions at which movies are made always change, but they're never changed in a good way. At least the evolution I've been seeing so far. I still love that the common factor is they're always a pain in the ass to make. And by love, I mean fuck you, Hollywood. Orphan a Dame returns again when Mayhew's secretary comes in and she starts, or girlfriend, whichever you want to refer to her as, she starts talking to Barton. She reveals that she wrote his last 3 works and that she wants to help Barton and that something shady's going on. She doesn't say that one, but it's very fucking clear the way she's acting. But she comes in and she basically points out to Barton, start at the beginning. What do you want to do? Are we doing orphan or dame? And then it just hits him. I have no way out of this. This simplistic Hollywood formulaic way of writing. I have genius I can show the world. I have beauty I can show the world in me. Difference. But they don't want to see it. They want to see their same old shit. They want to see their orphan or dame. And it's just fucking soul-crushing. There's a line she says in here in this whole speech where it's like, he's been asleep for a while. It really kind of just confirms that she did it. In my mind, at least it does. She did it. I will, again, that's a little confusing point for me. Because I'm assuming that he's been asleep for a while. Okay, so he did it. But then conveniently, when we wake up, she's dead. So what the fuck is happening? Fink wakes up, he sees blood pouring from the bed, conveniently timed. She's been laying there, unless she had just gotten stabbed and like the person who did it's hiding under the bed at this very second. The idea of him like touching her or smacking the mosquito, like that too, the mosquito on the cover. But smacking the mosquito, you see the blood, beautiful way to do this visually. See the blood and then just from the bottom more blood starts pouring and he's just, the fuck? Flips her over, rightfully though, the fuck? Flips her over and you see the wound and it's just pouring blood everywhere. Again, convenient timing. Other than that, what the fuck is happening? I didn't even see this shit coming. This was just a complete surprise. Because at this point you don't know Mayhew's dead, I actually thought Mayhew was gonna do a whole, flip out moment and then maybe Goodman would save him? Like, there's a number of things I was thinking could potentially happen, but no. No. She wakes up dead, Goodman walks in. That's... wow. See, this movie weirdly went from a different... This is a weird turn. It didn't seem like it was going this way, and now it has this murder mystery air to it, and I mean it. They really play that up in the filming process, in the format. he looks outside and he has this moment of staring at Buscemi, and it's just like, did he do it? He has a key to all the rooms. Did he do it? And the way that Buscemi looks at him, was it Goodman? Could it have been Goodman? Was it Mayhew? Did he know we were cheating? You have so many answers. Was it me? Was it the studio execs? Because I just went and fucked myself by telling them I wasn't done? It could have been a numerous amount of people here, and I love how plausible each of these motives would be. Except for maybe Buscemi's probably the least. No, his face. No, they all have fair motives. Goodman comes in, gets rid of the body for him, and at this point I was like, okay, he's a grifter. He's gotta be a fucking grifter. He's gonna get rid of the body, he's gonna come back in. Listen here, I got rid of the body, there's trouble, I had to pay for some stuff, you gotta pay me back X amount of money, and really he just made that money. He didn't do any. You know what I'm saying? He just would have just grifted that out of him. Done. No, I was fucking dead wrong. Fucking dead wrong. So you have a scene of the Capitol Records guy who's sitting there listening to Barton. He's like, hey, let me get a look at the movie, if that's okay. I'd like to see the movie. To which Barton's responding with, I'd rather show you the finished product. I'm still working on it. AKA, fuck! Coen, do you have a really bad experience with like a head of a studio or something that I didn't hear about? Because that's what this feels like. This feels like you had a really bad experience and just want to shit all over the process. I like it. If it comes from a real spot, it's even more ironic with the script. Fink and Goodman's roles are now swapped. You have the whole... Earlier on, it's Goodman was in this place of not knowing... Oh, not knowing. He was in this place of not knowing, and it was just like, oh, well, I'm a dumb guy, and I don't know what to do, and I'm just, you know, wandering, meandering my way through life, blah, 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 blah. And then Fink was just, I know everything. I'm a genius, I'm a writer, I know everything. And then just swapped. As soon as that murder happens, Fink is destroyed. His psyche is shattered, the whole thing with the Capitol Pictures guy, all these negative things that hit it once, life beat him. And you just see it, it's just, I don't know what to do, I'm gonna die, I might go to jail, I might get fired and blacklisted, worse if I get blacklisted, and it's just, this is legit the all is lost moment. Or at least I thought it was. Goodman drops off his personal box. So, again, so he's a fucking grifter. There's something in that like leads to the murder, and then like there's gotta be something to this. There's some shit. This is the point where if you don't know Goodman is not who he says he is, then you need to go to tvtropes.com and start reading them, because it's clear as fucking day. So Goodman leaves after handing that to him, and you have Barton who comes in and he starts writing, and conveniently the LAPD shows up and starts questioning about Goodman. Great twist reveal here of Goodman, the neighbor. His real name isn't what he said it was. His real name was Madman Muntz. He was a psychopath. He was released. Well, not released. He escaped. he was released of his own accord. He's not a con man. He's a fucking crazy man. And that little difference means the world. I was thinking like he's an asshole and this. No, he's just flat out fucking crazy. Might actually be the devil. Imagery! So after the twist, Fink's in his room contemplating and writing the script for basically what just happened. He gets all these ideas from reality. Again, that's his writing style, and he just, you see it on his face. He has a mission. He has, not even just a mission, he has this very thin layer of just responsibility to tell this story. So Barton gets back into his apartment, he sees that the cops are going through his stuff, they're reading his script. In fact, conveniently, it seems like they're on the last page as he gets there. He's looking at the cops like, oh, fuck me, I'm caught. I'm as good as in jail. And, weirdly, it doesn't play out the way I thought. That's clearly a fucking head, and it's clearly going to get him in trouble. And it doesn't. Because John Goodman comes back and reveals he's fucking Satan. I'm not even fucking with you. It's literally a reveal that he's Satan. He comes out of a burning elevator, and the fire doesn't leave the elevator till the same exact moment that he walks out of it. The two cops are just like, what the fuck's happening? The hallway is catching as he's running down it, screaming, I will show you the inner workings of my mind, or some shit like that. Just one of the most fucked up things you could possibly see. Mainly because you're seeing John Goodman charge at you. That just sounded like Colossus from the X-Men arcade game. Fucking John Goodman yelling at you. charging and just fucking takes one of the cops out, shoots him in the head, fucking takes the other cop out, saves Barton Fink. Didn't see this coming again at all. So while having a very predictable element in the movie is very uncallable. The whole devil imagery, the Satan imagery, which by the way is totally an actual theory, I believe it wholeheartedly. That's the only way this ending makes any remote sense to me whatsoever. I get symbolism, but I can't quite grasp the full intent of that symbolism if that's what that is. That's revealing that motherfucker was Satan. He was the devil. Goodman and him have one final existential talk, which he ends implying he visited the people Fink mentioned earlier. You get a reveal that, yes, he did indeed. This all was revenge for calling on the noise complaint. Are you, like, you come into my house? I love this thought process. You come into my house and you fucking call... First of all, you're a guest. You come here for fucking a week. I live here for my entire life, and you're gonna fucking come in here and complain about my noise? The thought process is so followable that it's scary. I'm not saying it's relatable. If you react that way, you belong in a fucking mental asylum, but, well, you earned the name Madman. But it's still just, you get it. You understand him a little bit, which is horrifying to think about. We end the movie in the most depressing fashion of just, he takes this script, the Madman Month story, and gives it to Capitol Pictures, to which he responds with, "You fucking kidding me? I hired you to do a wrestling movie. What the hell's this garbage? I don't want none of this. It's fucking clever. People don't want clever. Get the fuck out of my office." And the scene of just Barton, this is one of the few scenes, again, it's the wallpaper scene and just this one line delivery will always stick with me past this movie, and it's just, but I just wanted to show you something beautiful. The more he says, the more he realizes he's done in Hollywood. He's blacklisted. In fact, the guy flat out says it. I will hire you for multiple pictures that will never see the light of day, and you will be blacklisted for the rest of your career. You have literally fucked yourself. And again, it all goes back to Tony Shalhoub's comment earlier in the movie. I don't think I mentioned it, but it was, you don't want to get on his good side. Don't even have a relationship with him at all. Stay away from him. He should have listened. John Turturro, man. Both him and Goodman in this movie are fucking above everybody else who's in this movie, and that's saying a lot. Tony Shalhoub's in this movie. Again, no, he's good. And on the familiar beach girl picture, just sadly different. Just getting to some fun now before we end. The dying bird at the end that I just recently mentioned was an accident that happened. It was a coincidence, and they kept it because that's just fucking perfect. Like, you actually, it just proves it. You just can't actually plan that kind of shit. The wallpaper in Barton's room only peels if Goodman has either just been in the room or has just left it. Satan! This was the first film to win all 3 major Cannes Film Festival awards. It's debated that the Hotel Earl is hell. Chet appearing to ascend from Underworld, 666 in the elevator, and the hallway fire scene all add to that, as well as a couple other things I mentioned. Turturro, Buscemi, and Goodman's characters were all written with them in mind. I totally get why. Buscemi's is a little weird. W.P. Mayhew was based on William Faulkner, the writer of A Rose for Emily. That would be the work most people commonly know him for. The voice of the first line, the actor from the play that you hear, is actually John Turturro himself, dubbed in. So you see Turturro reacting to John Turturro deliver a line. You sure these guys didn't write Inception? You can like and subscribe, leave a comment if you can. You know, try to tell me if I missed something. I'm almost positive I missed some sort of underlining thing in this movie. But tell me if I've missed anything. If you agree with my point, let's have a conversation about how good the movie is. And even if you just want to say, hey, do this guy next, do that. Make some suggestions what director you'd like us to do. Yeah, that's it. If you can, click the arrow below, see what we're doing next week. I believe it's Fargo, because I think there's a whole error with the PlayStation Network as far as what movies they have and don't. I didn't see Blood Simple or Hudsucker Proxy or stuff like that, so I wasn't able to do them yet. We will get to them absolutely in due time. I'm going to have to go buy physical copies. And, yeah, that's pretty much it.